storyline reasonably.
The Joy wired the bottom turn before anybody.
We're trying
You
to
did for.
Yeah, true.
You had it together at Honolulu Bay that day we went there in
Oh,
'64.
yeah,
You
right.
did, totally.
Well, the
On
problem,
15 and 18-foot waves, you were
problem
laying
with-
it out.
the problem with what was happening, are you shooting this?
Oh yeah, I'm going now.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
Okay, the problem with the early guns riding big waves, people would turn on the top, and of course as the wave would pitch, the board didn't like that, and it would spin, and guys would crash. So to actually go straight on down, that took a little more time before we all figured that out. But that was the answer for at least getting halfway down the wave and projecting a turn, and not trying to turn on the lip, which was, you wanted to get down the line because it was pitching, right? It was trying to go, right? But of course that was a disaster for all of us that did it in those early days.
Well, we really were trying to find the perfect way to surf, how to properly surf. And you're the one that really put the first bottom turn together and started turning, going down the face, Joe.
Well, this was one of your boards that I remember doing this on too. That board that I was saying, there was the yellow board with the baby blue insert, the large diamond tail to nose diamond insert. And that was one of your boards, and that's where I think a lot of that started.
And that's where I saw you doing that move.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those good days. Good fun. Good days.
And later, David and Weave and Reno put it together.
Oh, everybody put it together.
Yeah.
Nobody has a handle on any of this stuff. Everybody just adds 2 cents to the process.
Right.
Including surfing, including board design, and over the years, that's the beautiful thing about it. Everybody has their turn, and everybody adds to the the evolution of surfing and design of surfboards. It makes it really right on. Don't you agree?
Well, you contributed. You know, that flat bottom board that you won the Duke meet with was the first real flat bottom board. And now that you had me made a replica of it, and I realized it wasn't just flat; it had a 1/8 of an inch concave, the full length of the board, with a slight lead in V in the nose and a slight V in the tail, which is the same bottom that Bruce Irons won the Duke meet, the Eddie Aikau, just 2 years ago. That Brewer had that bottom that you put on that board.
Well, we proved it.
Well, you did it, Joe. You went and shaped that board yourself. I have to give you credit.
You know, I built 2 that day, and one was an 8.3 that I won the Duke with. The other was a 9-foot, 17.5 wide that I used for a little bigger surf. And yeah, that board was kind of like a toe-in, even though it was 9 foot long. But the narrowness and the shape of it is kind of what you want on a real huge wave.
Really?
You have to paddle in, so now I know guys are paddling in some huge stuff, so we're setting some new standards, I think, huh?
Definitely. And they're right, your board had a lot of flow, but you paddled into some huge waves with that board.
Well, I carried, what I did that I knew that worked for me at that time was I carried some of the thickness. I ran it aft a little bit, even though the board was really foiled. When the wave picked that up in that flat bottom, it just went in so easily, which made it possible to ride a little bigger wave with not very much surfboard.
Well, I can tell you, looking at the bottom and the rails on that board, it's fast. It's probably a faster board than any pros riding with Sunset to this day.
Well,
but it was a little sketchy and a little hard to ride.
No, because of
razor rails the full length of the board. It was the first drop rail board to be ridden in big waves, Joey. Not just the bottom, but you put some real things in that board. When I finally shaped a replica of it, I realized what you'd done.
Well, you could have softened that a little bit. The bigger
I
gun,
did soften that one because you told me I could.
The bigger gun is softer. Do you
it's
feel
softer, but it's between the two.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. Somebody's going to get a ride on that for sure, I would think. It's all good.
Up until the point where what you guys are talking about right now, what were rockers before like, and how did the two of you contribute to modern day rocker and where rockers are today?
Well, I think that everyone added something to the board design, the shape, right? And so some of the early boards, of course, were much straighter all the way through the board and had softer rounder bottoms in the middle of the rails. And so things progressed from that over the years. And so now some of the smaller boards that they write today have quite a bit of rocker. And the boards that I was writing didn't have that much rocker. I had about 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches in the tail, and some of the noses, 6 to 8 inch noses, so you could take the drop and you never would purl, but you had the flat bottom with the concave, and then you had a little V, so you could just project that down the line, and you really got your speed that way. But I think today the boards, as you know, have changed dramatically. They're with the 3 fins, a little wider tails, and a lot shorter, and low soft rails with concave and flat bottoms with V's and double V's in the tail, and you know, it's all good. It's all changed, and it's just gotten more efficient, but it's gotten more maneuverable too, more turnability, more able to cut back without wanting to keep driving.